Not yet. All right, there we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video live stream here on the channel for West Ham preview today. Of course, for tomorrow's game, which we have against Southampton at home, the final game of the season, and of course, we got fans, and it's a big game in terms of Europa League / Europa Conference League. What will we be in this stand tomorrow night? We're not going to know until obviously after the game. But let's hope it's the Europa League. We've got a few, stats to talk through today. We got thanks for coming on, another fan today of Southampton. How are you doing, by the way, James?
I'm doing good, mate. Thanks.
That's good. So yeah, we're going to quickly talk through a few little stats to bring you. We're going to do predicted lineups and preferred lineups. Just talk quickly about the two teams, and go from there. Also, jumping well. How you doing, Stephen, man? How are you? So yeah, let's go into a little brief stats quickly. And so West Ham are unbeaten in their last 6 Premier League meetings, with Southampton winning 5 in a row before the 0-0 draw in the reverse fixture. So I remember that game. What's the crack? Not much about you. So yeah, back in December, just after Boxing Day, we played against them. I remember away from home. They scored earlier on against was with Danny Ings. It was ruled offside, I think, in the end, and bit of a boring encounter then, actually. Craig Dawson absolutely destroyed Shea Adams' head, who isn't actually available for Southampton tomorrow, mind you. But overall, it's that was a really poor game, poor quality, and I think a lot of that was just due to Southampton playing well before Christmas, and all the games we had during Christmas, it was pretty tricky to actually play. But it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. Since drawing 3-3 in May 1994 in their first such meeting, none of the we'll get these up actually. None of Southampton's last 17 away Premier League games against West Ham have ended level, with Saints winning just 4 of those 13, and of course losing 13, which is very good actually, which means that we have a good record against Southampton. That's what isn't the stat here, but one of the games we the last game we had fans in the London Stadium, West Ham beat Southampton 3-1 at home. That was a brilliant day. I remember that was last season as well, when we weren't playing our best football. Also, good stat here, since losing 3 in a row between 2013-14 season and the 2015-16 season, West Ham haven't lost their final league game in any of the last 4 campaigns. Yeah, I remember that before. We used to be a team that either drew or lost their final game of the season. But I remember last year we ended up drawing against Villa. I think the year before we beat Everton or something like that. We do well again on the final day, so that's a nice stat to have. West Ham United need a point to guarantee top 6 finish in the Premier League for only the second time ever, finishing 5th in the 1988-1999 season under Harry Redknapp. It'll be the manager David Moyes' best finish since Everton, when he finished in the top 6 for them as well. So yeah, you can take it as you want from that there. Come on, you aren't Stephen. Thanks, man. Southampton have lost 9 of the last 10 Premier League away games so far in 2021, with the only exception being a 2-0 victory at bottom side Sheffield United. The Saints have conceded 30 goals in these 9 games. So, as you can see, they're a side that likes to ship goals a lot, with the Vestergaard and who's the other fella? Bednarak, the partnership with the defence. Not a bad partnership, to be fair. They're being consistent under there, and they're not always available, but they definitely, they're a solid partnership. And I remember they can see goals. That 9-0 defeat in Old Trafford back a few months ago. They're definitely a tricky side to play under there, though. But that's what we got to target, I think. And they haven't been great to play on the beach since January, so it's a big, interesting battle. Tomorrow that's going to be. Can we show why to everyone that's been like that for Southampton. Since his first Premier League appearance for West Ham on February the 3rd, only Kelechi Iheanacho has been involved in more Premier League goals than Jesse Lingard, and even that's not by much. It says a lot. And Iheanacho's a striker, Lingard's a cam, and Lingard's just dropped off in the last 3-4 games or so. But by God, there's going to be fans there tomorrow, and he's going to want to make a point. And he's done well so far anyway. So yeah, absolutely, it's going to be a really big game tomorrow for Lingard to show, and for all the attackers. But Lingard is just helped their team play massively with that experience he's brought into the team as well. And even when he doesn't contribute, he always does the right pass or something. He's a good player, so he'll be very interesting one tomorrow. Against no side, Southampton, Theo Walcott scored more Premier League goals than against West Ham, with 6. I feel like that's every player every week we preview. There's someone always that has that stat against us. While he's only had more goal involvements against Newcastle, which is 11 compared to the 6 against us, than he has against any other club. So, it says it there enough, really. Theo Walcott, between his Everton days, Hampton days, Arsenal days, West Ham, let's just say, is a favourite side. He hasn't been playing his best football this season, but he's well able, if you give him that time and chance to get a goal, he's well able to do it. And then one last stat, last but not least for now, is going to be West Ham. Forward Michael Antonio has registered 10 plus goals in his last two Premier League seasons. Only one of five players to manage that in consecutive seasons for the Hammers. So, I mean, we don't, he's been out in and out this season. We've been lacking an actual striker. We've got a few injuries here and there. And, even our last few seasons when we've been struggling, Michael Antonio has come up to the spot and done something. So, that's a really interesting stat there. Hopefully, he can beat the record, I think, tomorrow, which is off Paulo Di Canio. Which is 11. No, which is 10 now he's drawn. I think 11 is one to beat. So really interesting that's going to be if he can do it. I mean, if there's a guy to score up front for us, you'd have to back him for one of them. He works hard every game, and he'll be interesting that goes. Anyway, that's that. How are you doing anyway, James, man? How do you feel going into Southampton game tomorrow? And what number one, I suppose, what you want out of the game tomorrow, considering you're on the beach the last while, and number two, where do you think it's gone wrong for Southampton this season since we say the turn of the new year?
Hi Connor, mate. Hope you're doing well, mate. I think tomorrow's going to be an exciting game. Two good playing teams. We play aggressive football, good football. We don't have much to play for. We're secure in the league. We're nowhere near Europe. Luckily for you, you're right in the battle for it. But now we've nothing really to play. Hoping for an exciting game of football and hopefully loads of goals.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think has been the downfall of Southampton season this season?
Well, I think injuries has played a major part because of all the games. Yeah, I'd say injuries and a few unlucky moments have cost us this season, but we've still played a brilliant season.
Yeah, you played some good football. I mean, you were top by November. Even the start of January, you had that 1-0 win home to Liverpool. Danny Ings was firing. Ward-Prowse was doing well in that midfield, getting a few contributions, got the England squad. And you were doing really good football, and your defence was solid for a bit, and the goalkeeper. And then kind of been, squad rotations and, poor results. And kind of just after a while, and your head's kind of dropped. And I mean, the 9-0 defeat away to United was a tough one to take. And, I think that's been a big factor for Southampton this season, keeping up the consistency in the last few years. They've been a solid Premier League team for a few years now. All right, staying up by the tipped. They stayed up against Swansea a few seasons ago, beating them. I remember that game. But overall, I think Southampton have been one of those sides that have been solid, a bit like Crystal Palace for the last few years, that have kind of maintained in the Premier League, but they're going to have to do a bit more to go higher in the table because they were a European side a few years ago as well. They probably just need a few signings. And I mean, Ings doesn't help them getting injured all the time, does he? But what worries you, I suppose, about West Ham tomorrow, and what do you think West Ham should be worried about also of Southampton?
What worries me about West Ham is you have a great midfield. The midfield you have is amazing. Lingard, Declan Rice, Souček, it's unbelievable. You have a solid defence with Ogbonna back now, a great goalkeeper in Fabianski, but we have a better team. Ward-Prowse is unbelievable. Danny Ings is a goal machine. I think Ward-Prowse, Danny Ings, Redmond, they're going to give you a hard time tomorrow, Conor, mate. I'm telling you.
Absolutely, I think there's a few good players that said in the Southampton team that are dangerous, and I think the one thing West Ham we done well really in the whole of the season mainly is counter-attacking football that David Moyes got us playing. He's got defensively running all over the pitch, defending brilliantly. We've had a bit of injuries since January, and we've kind of hung in there, which is really good. And we've kept ourselves in the top four into the last few games. Then we dropped down to as low as seventh, and with Spurs battling against Villa the evening, we went off and brilliant character to turn around against West Brom in a very poor performance from us, and we managed to do well. I mean, I think the big one tomorrow is West Ham. We struggled to break teams down recently. And I mean, okay, I don't think Southampton are the team that will struggle to break down with or anything like that. But I think it's definitely going to be, it'll be interesting to see who creates the chances for us tomorrow because, Southampton, what style do you reckon Southampton kind of play? What do you think Southampton's most dangerous area on the team?
I think you'll be playing a lot of counter-attacking football, Conor, mate, because we play very high press, aggressive. We play aggressive. We go for the ball, trying quick, smooth, transitional play. But we do have kind of deep-lying midfielders, so I think we'll high press and just attack you from the get-go.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I mean, as I said in the last few games, your record against us isn't great at all. And, with all something to play for tomorrow with fans back. So, I suppose what the thing is tomorrow, do you think fans will play any part against you tomorrow in the game?
If I'm honest, Conor, mate, I think the West Ham fans will affect the West Ham players more in a negative way, considering what you're known for with your toxic fans. But yeah, I think your fans could play a part, but put a bit of pressure on you. But yeah, hopefully it's a good game.
I think it'll be a good day anyway. I think they'll be happy to cheer us on. Support the team, not the regime, is kind of the way we're going. And I think they'll be happy to just get back into the stadium tomorrow. We're not like Spurs booing their fans, the players off at half time and full time. They're just a banter club, and they're a bit stupid at times, really. But anyway, move on to a man to watch. 3 players to watch for both sides tomorrow, and I picked out my 3 players from Southampton. You can pick out your 3 players if you want from West Ham. And my 3 Southampton players I'm thinking of tomorrow to picking out. Danny Ings is a huge player for you, and if you give him the chance, he will take him. I think with James Ward-Prowse, especially with set pieces, he could easily score. I'm actually going to back him to score tomorrow from a set piece. And I also feel that we're going to see the likes of I suppose a key player for us actually is going to be Nathan Redmond. I think he's actually banging form for not recently, but I think after the FA Cup for a few weeks he was good, and give him the chance on his day. I think he's a very good player. So I think you got to give him. Don't let any they mightn't be the best players in the league, but you give any time for a player on the ball, and they can create something on their day. And it takes one chance. So we've got to be careful that tomorrow. Decent defense as well. Kyle Walker-Peters up there for you. You've got the likes of Westergaard and the boys in the defense. Not a bad set of team, just maybe needs to add to in the summer. What would your 3 West Ham players altogether that you'd pick out tomorrow to be worried about?
I think I'm going to pick out Lingard because I think he'll want to. After the season he's had, mate, it's been unbelievable since Christmas. So I think he's going to want to end that on a bang to try and maybe get back in the United team next year, maybe on the plane for England. So I think he'll be at his best tomorrow. I think Ogbonna back. He's a huge player for you. He's a massive player. He's a real threat from corners, and I think the last player is a player who's been on form for all the season basically, and it's Mr. Souček. Those
Yeah.
are my 3.
I mean, 2 players we saw that scored the other night was Souček and Ogbonna, and they were players that haven't really scored in a while. So it was really important to kind of get them back on the score sheet. We've had a lot of options this season, different phases, different goal scorers, and I think maybe that's something Southampton kind of lack sometimes. And just when the plan A doesn't work, what is the plan B? And they haven't really got a strong enough plan A consistently for the season to kind of show that. But we're going to quickly go into the predicted lineups tomorrow. Preferred lineups. West Ham. I mean, I'm going to go my preferred lineup, and that's going to be in goals. Fabianski apparently might be back 50-50. Look, if he isn't, obviously if he's fit, him, but Randolph otherwise, well, he did all right to see the other evening. Of course, the corner goal was tough to concede, but it wasn't entirely his fault. But Souček and Stanley's way really cost us. But anyway, Fabianski fit goes in goals, if not Randolph. Into the left back, Creswell, another assist. That's 8 this season for him, most out of any defender in the Premier League, and he's really improved this season going forward and defensively. Right back, we're going to give obviously Vladimir Kufal. 2 centre backs, Ogbonna and Dawson. Very good, solid partnership the other night. A bit shaky at times coming into the box. We weren't always there defensively, but overall defensively we're very good. Into the midfield, of course, Rice, Souček, not the greatest performance actually the last game or 2, but in general, Rice getting back to injury. Souček was brilliant going forward again the last few games, and they still have a very good partnership, and that'll be a very interesting battle tomorrow with a very interesting Southampton midfield. Like Ward-Prowse and stuff. Into the wide players now. I mean, in the 2 wingers, Ben Rama has to start for me, and Pablo Fornals. I think Fornals is obviously a very underrated player from us. He works very hard off the ball and on the ball, and if he finishes his practice, he's finished, and he'd be a very good player for us next season. He's the reason why he's only got 3 goals for us this season. But I'd love to see the assists and the key passes he's made for us, etc. So overall, I think Fornals just has to start, gives us a good balance in there, and Ben Rama gives us something extra. He got an assist the last day again. He got a goal before that. He needs to start, especially in front of the fans. He might thrive off that, really. Look, if it's not going right, take him off. But he did well the other night, so why drop him? And Bowen is a good super sub. Cam would be Lingard, of course, and then striker Antonio. Antonio annoyed me the last 2 games, but he scored the other night at the end. He does work hard, and he's pretty much important in the way we play. So yeah, that's a really interesting. Suppose the way we're going to go about it tomorrow. Southampton, what would your injuries and suspensions? What's your squad looking at? I know Shea Adams is out. Is there anyone else, James?
So this is the squad here, Connor, mate. So in goals, Mr. Forster. So he's out. Cocker Peters out right back, and then we have Nathan Redmond out left, Armstrong and Ward-Prowse in the midfield, Walcott out right, and then Ings and Nathan Teller up front, because Mr. Shea Adams is injured.
That's a very interesting line. Tella's been an interesting key player this season that's progressed and just needs to keep going next season. He could be a shining light in that Southampton team. I've seen him a few times. Bundles of pace, good skill, just needs a bit more end product, and he'll be fire next season. Yeah, that's what I think. I think the lineup tomorrow. I feel like Benrahma won't start. I think he'll want Bowen in front of the fans. I think he just doesn't like Benrahma, and I think he'll just bring him off the bench. He just doesn't trust him enough yet. But other than that, I think we'll stay unchanged. Of course, the goalkeeper situation will be down to last minute injuries. Other than that, squad will stay unchanged tomorrow. It is a really big game. Hopefully it goes well. I think West Ham as well, 16 points. We're joint fourth for most points from losing positions this season, behind I think United, Wolves, and another team up there anyway, Liverpool or something like that. But look, it's a huge game tomorrow in the London Stadium with fans. My prediction before we go is going to be, I think 2-1. We could squeeze it 2-0, but I'm going to go 2-1 to us. And I think we're going to see James Ward-Prowse score a free kick, and I think we're going to see us score from Lingard. And I have a funny feeling Benrahma is going to score tomorrow. I can see him in front of the fans just doing something. So what would you go for, James, tomorrow, your results?
I think I'm going to go either 2-1 Southampton or 2-2. I'm going to go 2-2 Southampton. 2-2 Southampton.
Do you think there can be goals? Yeah, it could be. If it's a fun game, hopefully. Besides the last game we met in St. Mary's back in December, a lot of the last few games against the Saints have been very much goals, and regardless of West Ham winning, losing, or drawing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that battle unfolds, tomorrow evening. Hopefully West Ham can march on to the top 6 in the Europa League group stages at the end of the final whistle. Of course, this is permutations for West Ham. We can't finish higher than 6th, but we can finish lower than 7th. So that's Europe guaranteed no matter what. Unless Everton hammer City and we get hammered by Southampton, which is really unlikely. I wouldn't like to think that would happen. But yeah, if we were to lose tomorrow, we could still get top 6 if Spurs don't beat Leicester away. So it's very much up for grabs tomorrow. It'd be very interesting to see how things go. We've been in fine form recently, of course, maybe not, but 7 points in out of the last 18 available for West Ham. I mean, as I said, only 1 win in their last 9 for Southampton. All competitions around the Premier League since the turn of the new year, and since the last 9 really. Besides that Sheffield United win 2-0 away from home, so it's it'll be an interesting game. West Ham recently have actually lost 2 of their last 2 home games and haven't scored in both. But overall, we've won either second or third best home record in the league this season. So it'll be really interesting to see how things go tomorrow. Hopefully, we can get the win. And one thing left to say. Thanks for coming on, by the way, James, for a Southampton fan, and come on, you Irons.